Welcome to Deadly Dames, and this is my top 10 movies from 2018. This is the first chance I've actually had to do this top 10 list, so I've left it a little bit late, but at least I'm doing it now. I actually found doing this list this year was actually extremely difficult because there's been some fantastic movies, not only going to the cinema this year or from independent labels, but also Netflix has come out with fantastic movies this year as well, which made me doing this top 10 list, which made for me doing this list, try and say that sentence again, really difficult this year, and I have actually had to do quite a few honourable mentions as well, so I might as well just get on with it. So my first honourable mention is the movie A Simple Favour. When I went to see this movie, because it was actually Claire that wanted to go to the cinema to see this, because I was just like dead set on this was just going to be a movie where we guess everything that happened in it the whole way through. I couldn't be more wrong. There was a lot of twists and turns throughout the whole film, and the two lead actresses, for whatever reason, whose names I've completely forgot just now, it's the actress from Pitch Perfect and the actress from The Shallows, and as soon as I press stop to this, both their names will pop back into my head. But because this always happens when you press play, names just decide that they don't want to be in your head. But they were fantastic in this film as well, but everything about it, twists and turns, and I definitely would watch this film again. I thought it was fantastic, but it just fell out of my top 10 because, as I said, there was a lot of good films that came out this year for me. Mum and Dad, I thought Nicolas Cage was just his crazy self in this film, and I just loved it. There was some things that happened in this movie that I thought, didn't see that coming, especially when it involves crazy parents going a little bit nuts towards their kids. I keep meaning to pick this movie up again because I just really enjoyed the things that happened in it. It kind of made me laugh, even though it's like dark comedy, because as I said, it is parents. It's like a disease that happens that makes the parents want to kill their children, and it's very dark but also very funny, and I just really enjoyed it. Ralph Breaks the Internet. I love Wreck-It Ralph. It wasn't as good as the first movie, but I still really enjoyed it, and there was a stronger Disney movie that came out last year, which is on my top 10, so I'll talk about that one, but Ralph Breaks the Internet was still really good. And then my last honourable mention, as I said, it was a really good year for movies personally for me, was the movie Ready Player One, which I do already own. Sorry, I shook the table there. And that was Ready Player One, as I said. It's not as good as the book personally for me. I think what Steven Spielberg did with this movie was very intelligent, because you couldn't take the book and turn it into a movie for a modern audience, because the book is sort of primarily 80s, and if you did that for a modern audience, they wouldn't have a clue what was going on. You would really have to know the movies and the sort of games from the 80s and the characters playing. And if you didn't know that, sorry, I can't get my words out just now. If you didn't know that, you would be lost in the film. I think he did a really good job of modernising that. And I know a lot of people had a problem with that, but for me, I think he did the right thing to make audiences enjoy it. And I thought he did a great job by introducing King Kong and then bringing The Shining into it, because everybody knew what that was. For me, I was smiling when that happened. I thought it was a good movie. The only problem I had with it was I thought the two lead characters didn't really have a lot of chemistry. But I enjoyed the movie and I've watched it more than once. So for me, it was a really good film, a really strong movie. It just fell out of my top 10. But yeah, getting straight into the 10th position for me was the Halloween. I thought it could have been a better movie, but I still really enjoyed Halloween being back on the big screen. I thought that it was certainly a brutal film. It was, like, the original Halloween is all about stalking and the suspense of him following the victims. I thought it was really good that they ramped it up, so it wasn't really stalking, it was just bloody violence. I did actually really like that. I know a lot of people didn't, but for me, I enjoyed it. Where Halloween fell down for me, and I really don't think I'm spoiling anything because I think most people have seen the new Halloween movie by now, was the ending. I just wanted a definitive ending. He is gone. He doesn't exist anymore. But in true Hollywood style, they left it open to a sequel. And for me, that was just a cop-out. And as much as I enjoyed the movie, and if you can hear snoring, that is my cat sitting behind me, so it's not me, obviously, the cat is making that noise. But back to Halloween, that's where the movie fell flat for me, and that's why it fell into a 10th position in my top 10, because if they had done the ending that I wanted, and I know you can't always get what you want, but if they had done that ending, it certainly would have been higher on my top 10. Number 9 is probably a movie that a lot of people are going to say, why did you put it so low? I don't know if it was maybe because this film was so overhyped for me that I just didn't enjoy it as much as other people did. But at the end of the day, when it comes to movies, that everybody has an individual taste, and that's the great thing about films, is that I might enjoy a movie way more than somebody else does, and that's what I love about films, is people will talk about them and overanalyze them and you can enjoy them. I hate it when people start going, how dare you not love a movie that I love? That's the love about them, that's the great thing about them, is that you can discuss them, but don't force your loves on me, and don't go mad because I don't love a film that you don't love. But it is the movie Mandy, my name, but I still love it. It's still in my top 10. I have my theory on the movie Mandy. I don't really want to look... you know what, I'm just going to say it. I think a lot of people have seen it by now, but it is a bit of a crazy film. For me, the idea of this movie is... It's basically about a guy who's... I can't remember if it's his girlfriend or his wife, but she is murdered, and he goes on a crazy revenge. My theory is he isn't actually on revenge. I think he actually died too, and in his moments of dying, this is what he believes he did. Because he's tied up and sees her dying, and he's stabbed, and I think in his moments of dying, this is what he thinks he is doing to these people that did it to her. And by me thinking that's what he did, I really, really enjoyed that movie. A lot of people didn't enjoy the film because they think it's a little crazy and it's a little out there, and if you've seen the film, you'll know what I'm talking about, and that's what made them not like it. Now, if I was to think about that movie that way, I wouldn't have liked it, but because I think of it the way that I think of it, that's why I love it so much. But if he was really going to get out of being tied up, he would have done it to save her. He wouldn't have done it after being stabbed and beaten and left her in handcuffs, and then suddenly left her in barbed wire, and then suddenly able to get out and free himself after all of that happening. So in my mind, I think he was dying when he imagined that all this was happening, and that's what made me enjoy the film. So basically what I should have said is, when you're watching this review, I may spoil a few movies for you. I'll put it in the description below that there may be spoilers, but when I thought of the movie that way, I really, really enjoyed it. It is a bit of a mind warp, this movie. It's Nicolas Cage being Nicolas Cage, and I did really, really enjoy it. I just didn't think it was as amazing as people made it out to be. People were saying it's a masterpiece, you'll never see a movie as good as this. I've seen better movies, in my own personal opinion. I can see why people thought it was amazing, because the music and the cinematography and the acting is fantastic. But what I thought was really strange is that when I asked a lot of people why they love it, a lot of people couldn't tell me why, which I found really strange. So I would like to know why people love it so much, what their theory is, because as I said, this is my theory of the movie. So I would like to know other people's theory of the film. So but yes, I still really, really enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. I thought it was a bit of a shame that it didn't get a big run at the cinema. I know it did come out in some selected cinemas and it got a little bit of a run. It should have got more, because there is certainly worse films that got more of a cinematic release. And this is what I'm finding more and more, is that movies that should get a longer cinematic release aren't. I never got to, because you'll notice that I don't have the remake of Suspiria on my list, because I never got to see it, so I can't see whether I liked it or not. But movies like that don't get to come out in big cinematic releases, and that's a shame. Whereas crap films do, and I just think, why? But it should have got more of a cinematic release, and I'll say that. Next on my list is actually a film that came out on Netflix, and I feel ashamed for this movie, because it's got overhyped, but it's been one of those movies that's overhyped so much that people are actually sort of ripping the piss out of it a little bit. but it's actually a very, very good movie. It's got a lot of plot holes as well, but I'll be honest with you, like the beginning of this movie, up until maybe sort of not halfway through, almost near the end, and then it saves itself at the end, is actually cinematic wise a very, very good movie, and that's the movie Bird Box. Personally, to me, I thought it was fantastic, and I know a lot of people don't like that you don't get to see what's happening to him. Well, that's the whole point, because you can't see it, because seeing it is what's driving you crazy. It's your own fear. So if you've seen it, it would destroy you. So how can you possibly see what's doing it? And then a lot of people were saying, but I want to know what's doing it. Well, why? I love movies that don't explain to you what's going on. That's the whole point of it. It leaves it to your imagination. Where Bird Box for me fell down a little bit was when it did the jump timeline. I think it missed a big opportunity with the people that enjoyed seeing it and enjoyed going crazy. I would have liked to have seen a bit more of them. But then for me it would have became a TV series, a bit like The Walking Dead. So I can understand why they didn't focus on that too much. And I think there was some plot holes in bits. And some people that I spoke to actually thought they stayed in the same house. So and suddenly they were next to a river. It was a different house, and I was trying to explain that to them. They were, because it actually touched on it a little bit when it said we're going to have to move house soon so that we can get more supplies. And I actually had a full discussion with someone saying it's not the same house, but they thought they did. So you could see why people thought there was plot holes. It was a different house, but I thought the cast was good. John Malkovich was great in it. Sandra Bullock was great in it. It was to me it was a very, very good movie. I thought it was strange that people described it as A Quiet Place, but like with your eyes, I can understand why, because also they couldn't see. But the part of this movie that made it great for me was that sequence when her and her sister were leaving the hospital. I was eating my dinner at the time, and we were watching it, and then I realised that I'd sat for like a full 5 minutes with my fork like this, because it was just mind-blowing, that scene where everything was going crazy and people were just, I'm sure you've seen it by now, I think everybody's seen it by now, people were just killing themselves left, right and centre, and I thought, wow. But the thing with that movie was that after that was kind of your big moment. There was moments after that, but that was kind of your big moment. And I think that's why people started kind of giving it a hard time. But for me, I still thought it was a really good movie. I really enjoyed it, and it took me by surprise. I didn't really know what to think it was going to be like, but it really took me by surprise, and that's the reason why it's on this list. Number 7 is The Quiet Place. Another movie that really took me by surprise. We had a strange experience going to see this movie when we went to the cinema, and I think if you've seen our reviews of this before, I'm sure I spoke about this. For a movie called The Quiet Place, we actually went to the cinema, and there was a woman in there talking to herself the whole way through it. So we called her, Whispering Sally, I think. She whispered the whole way through. I don't think she was quite right. She scared the life out of us. But I love The Quiet Place because I love the idea of playing with because you've got your senses, and taking one of those senses away was a brilliant idea for a movie. I thought, again, sometimes with movies you've got your middle, your beginning, your middle and your end, and sometimes if you don't quite get one of them right, it's and with The Quiet Place, the ending was a bit, how do you wrap up a movie like that? So it was a bit strange. I thought it was sad with the dad, but again, really should put spoilers on the end of this, on the title of this. But I thought The Quiet Place was fantastic. Really took me by surprise, that one. Again, I just realised I've missed a number 6. Oh no, I haven't. I've just scored it out for some weird reason. But yes, The Quiet Place really took me by surprise as to how good it was. The children in that were fantastic. I loved the idea of it being a family. I thought that Emily Blunt was really good in it. In fact, you know what, I thought the whole cast was really, really good in it. I thought the creatures were good in it as well. I loved the idea that if you made the slightest sound, they came for you. I think it was good that I put the two of them one after that Bird Box, Quiet Place, and I've just said something about people comparing them to each other. But yeah, I need to pick up The Quiet Place actually, because it was such a good movie. I really want to rewatch it. Number 6 is a movie I do actually own. Got it on DVD because I was given it as a gift, but there's no point in upgrading it now. Is The Shape of Water. I thought this movie was so strange but also so beautiful. It's weird how you can have a movie which is so bizarre but so beautiful. Again, this one really took me by surprise. It was well acted. I only way I can describe this musical is because it says musical in the back. Movie is beautiful. That is the only way I can describe it. It is like a perfect love story about a creature and a woman. But yes, I just thought it was beautiful. I enjoyed watching it. There was a couple of scenes, and I think you'll know the bathtub scene that I'm talking about, that I was a bit like, this is uncomfortable to watch. And Claire loves trying to explain why that scene's in there, because she's from the ocean and she's trying to be connected with the ocean. I was like, no, Claire, I want to see this scene with her in the bathtub. And if you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. But I thought this was a really, really romantic movie. Maybe I'm mad, but I thought The Shape of Water was really romantic. And for me, this is my romantic movie on the list. But yes, I loved The Shape of Water, everything about it. I've not actually rewatched it since seeing it at the cinema, but I really need to. I just thought it was a fantastic movie, and a lot of people, like a couple of folk at my work, were like, "Oh no, I thought that movie was rubbish." I did not. I thought it was romantic. I thought it was great. I sat the whole way through loving it. I know it's a long film, but I didn't even notice it was long, and that's how you know you've really enjoyed a movie that is long and you don't notice it's long. So yes, The Shape of Water is number 6. I nearly said 7. Number 6 on my list. And then we've got number 5, so we're back to Netflix, and that is one that came right at the end of the year, and that is actually Black Mirror's Bandersnatch. What a smart idea. What a really, really clever idea. I've been saying for years that I would love to see an interactive movie. The games that Claire plays are... See, I'm not a gamer. Claire is a gamer. And the only games that I'll ever really play with Claire... Because occasionally I'll play a game with Claire that is a button bashing game like Sonic the Hedgehog or Street Fighter or something like that. But then it becomes too competitive and I get banned. But the only games that I'll ever get involved with Claire are ones like Until Dawn, or... I'm trying to think of the names of other ones. Basically, what I'm trying to say are games where you would get asked questions, and your questions or your decisions would impact the outcome of your characters. So ones like Until Dawn or The Last of Us, things like that. And I've been saying for years that wouldn't it be good if we had a movie that was like that? And Claire kept saying, but you couldn't have a movie like that, because how would you make it be part of the characters? And then along comes Black Mirror, that actually goes, haha, let's make it so that basically, if you've not watched this yet, I'm totally ruining it for you, that basically it's part of the movie. So the character thinks he's going insane because things keep happening, and he's like, why are these decisions happening and I'm not actually making these decisions? But it's because you're making the decisions, and he thinks he's going insane. What a smart idea. But also at the same time, every decision you make alters the ending of the movie. I thought it was really clever. Now, a lot of people complained again. Is this becoming like a trend of movies that I'm picking? Because they thought it was too short. Because basically this movie could end in 40 minutes or it can end in 90 minutes. But they didn't get the point of this. You weren't just supposed to end in 40 minutes. You were supposed to go back and see all the other endings. There was loads of endings. My favourite ending personally was the Netflix ending, the one that I got because it was called the Netflix Fuck It ending. Or was it Fuck It ending? Or the Hell Yeah ending? It was something like that. But I think it was Hell Yeah ending. But I loved that ending, and that was when he went to see his psychiatrist, and basically they had a kung fu kick down. I thought it was hilarious. My sister did it as well, and she got a couple of endings that I didn't get. But I just thought, what a clever idea. I'm a big fan of Black Mirror anyway. I think Black Mirror looks at the technology that we have now, and then they move their TV series slightly in the future, but take the technology that we have now and goes, what if we were to move slightly in the future with the technology that we've got now and show people that the things that they're doing now, how scary would it be if they took it too far? So like one of my favourite episodes is the like episode, I can't remember what it's called, but like how everybody likes everything. So on Twitter we like, on Facebook we like, on YouTube we like, and then have this episode where everybody, to get through life, you have to like everything, and I thought that's brilliant. And then there's the White Christmas episode where you can block people, and then I just thought that was great. And I thought, because it's basically the world that we live in just now, everything is technology driven, but what if you take it too far? And I think Black Mirror is just a genius TV show. And I just thought Bandersnatch was a fantastic movie. I just can't wait to see what they do next. I'm not really sure how they can step it up and do another interactive one. I think people were waiting to see if they can do something interactive like that again. I'm not really sure if there could be another interactive movie like that. But wouldn't it be good? But yeah, so number 5, Black Mirror, Bandersnatch. Number 4 is actually the only Marvel one I've got on it. Everybody said that the reason why I love this movie so much is because of the ending. I don't really think I'm spoiling anything for anyone, because I went to see this movie twice, and both times I went to see it, the cinema was absolutely packed. So I think just about everybody and their dog went to see this film, and that is Avengers Infinity War. And they all said that I was obviously a very sick person because I loved that everyone died. But let's just face it, not everyone, but a lot of people died. We know they're coming back because we know there's hundreds and hundreds of sequels to all these characters. But yes, it's Avengers Infinity War. Again, I haven't taken it out of this. It was a gift I was given. It's a DVD, so I don't see the point in upgrading it. I haven't taken it out because I haven't rewatched it again. I've seen it twice. Come on. Don't really need to rewatch it yet. I'll rewatch it before going to see Endgame. I love how it's called Endgame, and we know that somehow all these characters are going to come back, because there is another Guardians of the Galaxy, there is another Spider-Man. So we know somehow they're coming back. But the scene with Spider-Man, kids were crying, it was brilliant. I know I'm sick, but I loved this film. It up until that end, and it was kind of mediocre, and then you got hit with, I don't want to go, and I was like, well, that's good. If only they were brave enough to just do that, you know. I'm not saying all of them, but the opening was really good as well. But I'm not even entirely sure they're going to leave Loki the way he is. But if only the Marvel universe was brave enough just to leave some of those characters gone. Not that I don't like them, but just, wouldn't it be good? But yes, Avengers Infinity War. Number 3 is actually a movie that I didn't really expect much from. It was recommended by so many people. People kept saying to me, you have to go and see this. I'd seen the trailer and I thought, I'm sure it'll be okay. But it really took me by surprise, which is the reason why it's so high in this list. I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. Everything about it was good. Whole way through it, I kept thinking that guy's familiar, and I realised it was Kurt Russell's son. And that is movie Overlord. I thought it was fantastic. I don't really want to spoil anything about Overlord, so for once I'm not going to put spoilers in it for this one, but it's basically about guys that get dropped into a war zone. It's set in the past. Soldiers get dropped in to fight Nazis. Turns out they've been doing experiments and it goes a little wrong. It's really good. Really, really good. But yes, it's all action and a lot of things happening that you don't expect. But yes, I really enjoyed Overlord. Took me by surprise. Number 2, the Disney movie. I have put this so high because I've watched Coco 3 times. Every time this movie tugs at my heartstrings, and I just think it's musical, it's family friendly, it's everything that you want from a Disney movie. When I went to see Coco at the cinema. I didn't think it was going to be the best Disney film. It's not my favourite Disney movie. It's up there now. But it was so good. I don't cry at many things, but I was like this. We seen it in 3D, and I didn't take the glasses off at the end, and Claire went, "Are you crying?" And I was like, "No." And she went, "You're crying, aren't you?" And I was like, "No, but I'd quite like to wait for the credits to finish." Yeah, but Coco brought a little tear to my eye. But yes, I absolutely loved Coco. I thought it was probably one of the better Disney movies that I've seen in such a long, long time. And I think what was so good about it was that you get Disney movies like Frozen, but for whatever reason, everybody loves it. And not saying Frozen is a bad Disney movie, but it seems to just be everywhere, and everybody talks about it, and everybody thinks it's the best Disney movie since sliced bread. And then a movie like this comes out, and not so many people talk about it, but it's actually such a heartfelt, fantastic movie, and this one's better. And more people should watch Coco. That's all I'm trying to say. It is such a good movie. I absolutely loved it, so that is the reason why I've got it at number 2, and that is the Disney movie Coco. And then number 1 is actually an independent movie. It was a movie that was, I'm sure it was an Indiegogo or a Kickstarter one. I actually had to get it ordered from eBay to get it, so it's actually a region 1, but it does play here. I bought it because it kind of resembled things like Stand By Me and it was basically, or in Goonies, like a group of kids, and I really wasn't, I'd heard it was good. It played at Fright Fest. I didn't know if I was going to love it. Boy was I wrong. I think it is amazing. I've watched it twice now. It's the best movie that I've seen this year, and I will tell anybody who wants to watch it that it is the best movie. Anybody who will listen to me to watch it is what I meant to say. I thought it literally blew me away. I keep saying that with everything, but this one really did blow me away, and that is the summer of '84. And this is the sort of thing that I'm meaning to you. This movie never got, other than Fright Fest, a cinematic release here. It should have. It's the directors, when I say directors, because I think it was 3 directors that did it. Second movie, they did, oh my god, the first movie's disappeared out of my mind. Nah, it's not coming back. I'll put it in the description, but it's a second movie. I did a review of this movie, so I'll put the link to it, and that mentions the second movie. The first movie. But this is amazing. It's such a clever story. It's about a group of 4 friends, and there's been kids going missing in the neighbourhood, and they kind of take it upon themselves to investigate the kids that have gone missing. And they get it in their mind that their neighbour, who is a police officer, is involved. And they get deeper and deeper into the investigation. And it gets darker and darker the deeper they get into this investigation. And the ending of this movie will stick with you. I mean, I couldn't get the ending of this film in my mind. I kept, for days and days, Claire and I kept thinking, it just sent shivers through our spine. We just kept thinking, what a horrible way to end it, but a genius way to end it. It's so good. And then these pile of crap movies go to the cinema and you go and watch them. I mean, I can't actually think off the top of my mind one this year that I thought, oh my god, that was rubbish, but last year's Snowman is one that will stick in my mind. It was rubbish, utter rubbish, and I wasted hours of my life going to watch it. Probably Truth or Dare's one that will come out. I mean, I didn't think Truth or Dare was the worst movie in the world, but it certainly wasn't to the level of genius that this film is. That should have been a cinematic release, this film, and more people should have seen it. And I recommend you go and get yourself a copy of this film. I don't think it's had like a major release over here yet. I'm not sure if it's coming out this year, but you can definitely get yourself a copy of it by going onto eBay and ordering abroad. Sorry, my cat's at the door. But if you can get yourself a copy of Summer of '84, pick yourself up a copy of this and do yourself a favour and watch it. It was amazing. I kept thinking I'm going to see a movie which is going to knock this off the top spot, and I think a lot of people told me Mandy would do it. and it didn't. This one stayed in the top. And I think it's going to stay on the top maybe even this year. I think it's going to take a bit to knock it off. I think this movie was amazing. But yeah, that is my top 10 movies of 2018. I've yammered on for half an hour. I'm so sorry. But let me know if you've seen any of these movies, if you think any I was wrong in my list, what you think of them. If there's any on there that you disagree with, if there's any on there that you put higher or lower, if there's any I missed. But as always, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe and take care.